Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So it's time for a second album review this Sunday, and I'm talking about the ninth studio album from the technical death metal band Revocation. This is their release New Gods, New Masters, which came out on the 26th of September via Metal Blade Records, and the album is 9 tracks and 44 minutes in length. So I absolutely loved Nether Heaven, this band's previous release in 2022, gave that a 9 out of 10. I felt like it was one of their more cohesive records. You know, it was very death metal, very dark, very grim. An album which I felt was very well tied together by both its theme and it felt also like the music was pretty consistently good, but also not too disjointed as you went from track to track on that record. And I feel like Revocation are continuing somewhat in that vein, and this is a little bit more of a thrashy album in terms of its sound output, but I still feel like it has a pretty central theme, this time being artificial intelligence and its threat to humanity, but using that as a tying force with the themes and the lyrics of each song. So I feel like that certainly is a strength which I feel like is carried forward from Nether Heaven onto this record, because I feel like this is still a pretty focused album from Revocation. If they've had any criticisms in the past, or criticisms that I've heard, it's that, you know, Dave Davidson and co are so gifted that they can get a bit carried away with the riffage, not necessarily always feeling like everything is super joined up and cohesive. And I think that's where their last two albums, at least for me, have been excellent. Like, they've felt musically and thematically pretty well tied up as a kind of final product. This album interestingly features quite a few collabs and guest spots as well, which I think actually would have worked well with this album. You know, sometimes too many guest spots I feel can affect an album negatively. But here you've got the likes of Travis Ryan, Castle Decapitation. You've got a jazz guitarist, Gilad Hexelman, featuring, as well as Luke LeMay from Gorguts. You also got Johnny Davey, a job from Cowboy, featuring on the track Cronenberg. But I feel like they all complement the songs. They don't feel like they sort of completely take over the Revocation sound or anything like that. They're used wisely, I think, on each of the tracks they feature on, and very cleverly. I think particularly the jazz guitarist spot is a very nice placement on the album and another real positive for this record. So just talking briefly on this theme of this record, so quoting Dave Davidson, he says, "I believe we've replaced our old gods with new ones, worshipping technology and creating a cult-like idolatry of innovators." So he's sort of saying where he thinks humanity and AI are headed to in the future, and this is kind of obviously a dark album on that point, and it certainly sounds dark and menacing. Going into some of the songs, I absolutely loved the title track, the opener, very much kind of Dave Davidson riffing, very sort of recognisably, I think, Dave Davidson. Sounds a little bit like it could have been on Existence is Futile, their second album, I think that was, and it wouldn't have been out of place on that one. Confines of Infinity, one of my favourite songs that featured Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation, with a riff so menacing and threatening. It sounds like it could be the musical equivalent of a crowd calling for your head. But it is just so damn good, that song. I love the tone on those solos that come in later in the song as well, after the riff. You know, kind of just this really, I think it's actually after Travis Ryan's vocal moment, sort of really clear, crisp guitar solos come into the song and are very effective on that track. Another one of my favourites here is Dystopian Vermin. Again, absolutely ferocious riffage, and I love the call and answer stuff going on with the rhythm and lead in this track towards the end, about the 3-minute mark if you want me to be specific. I just think that's an amazing moment in this song, and I just have to turn that up really, really loud, just because it sounds so damn good loud, and I thoroughly encourage you to play Dystopian Vermin as loudly as you can without upsetting your neighbours, but that might be difficult to achieve. The All Seeing is a great track which features that guest guitarist spot, the jazz guitarist spot, sorry, that I was talking about earlier, Gilad Hexelman. And I really like the way that's incorporated at the end of this track, really kind of making it more of a musical journey kind of song, but really impressive song as well, and an interesting, more complex song that I like the way it also makes use of some pinch harmonics, I think, in this track as well. I enjoyed Data Corpse, which was a short, more to the point kind of a song, a little bit Decapitated-like, with some of that kind of breakdown riffage going on in this song. And the closer, another highlight for me, featuring Luke LeMay of Gorguts, fast becoming one of my favourite closing tracks of this year. Absolutely fantastic track. Again, I encourage you to turn that up to max on your speakers when you're listening to that one. Maybe don't bother with the neighbours with that one, it's just too damn good. So yeah, absolutely great album, this one, New Gods, New Masters. I'm not sure for me, I love it as much as Nether Heaven though. I think it's a great record, but I think Nether Heaven for me just was that bit more consistent throughout. Saying that, you know, as I've shouted out, 5 or 6 tracks here I think are absolutely awesome. I think the rest of the album's pretty good too. I'm going to be specific like I was with the Purity Ring review earlier, and give it another decimal point score. I'm just feeling a decimal point night here for some reason. And this is getting an 8.25 from me. Just think it's just that fraction better than just an 8 out of 10 for me. It's just, if you're a guitar fan and a Riffs fan, this is an album that you're going to probably enjoy. And if you're a Revocation fan, don't miss this. So from me, until next time, hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub. As always, if you want to encourage me to do more of this kind of content, you enjoy my reviews. Otherwise, from me, until next time, it is bye for now.